Hello and welcome to a quick update to the Doorkeeper tutorial series. For those of you who are new to the channel, Doorkeeper is a card game that I am working on. It's a combination of several, major trading card games such as Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, and Magic, etc. But it's also influenced by a couple of board games such as chess and Risk. So I just got in my order from the Game Crafter yesterday, and I have everything set up of what a game will sort of look like. The point of the game is somewhat like in chess to cross the board and get to the other side so that you can take out your opponent's leader. The way that it works in Doorkeeper is a little bit different though, because as you can see, there's not quite as many pieces like in chess, and there's all sorts of strange cards on the field. Alright, so let's get into that. To be more specific in the goal, when you are trying to cross the field, your opponent will have pawns, which will represent their legion, which is a group of up to 5 units. You can think of units as your opponent's like monsters and armies, etc. And in addition to those legions, they will also have up to 3 sentries, which are represented by these 3 tokens in the back. Additionally, your leader is not only represented by this little pawn here, but also by this card. As you can see, the game is played with primarily cards. So each player is going to have 2 leaders. You're going to have a passive leader, which is going to stay in your base, and you're going to have an active leader, which is going to be played in one of your legions and move around on the field. So I have an example legion set up here. I'm not going to go through every component of the card, but what's really important about each card is this huge number value right here in the upper left-hand corner. This is the card's power value. Basically, each card has, as you can see, just the one power value, but they are represented in different colors: red, green, blue, and black. And what those mean is that there's a certain bonus associated depending on what you're doing with this legion. So, this legion here is represented by this pawn piece. So let's say that this piece was right here and wanted to engage in a skirmish with the enemy legion here. So how would that work out? Well, let's pretend that our opponent had a couple cards to work with, like so. All right. So, when fighting, or more so, when it's your turn, there are a few phases that you go through, including production, order, skirmish, and end. You can remember that because it spells out the word pose. So, production is when, at the start of your turn, you're going to be drawing cards. You're going to place little tokens on top of your territory cards. You place 1 token on each territory card. As you can see, these are face down. That means that they haven't been conquered yet. To conquer a territory, if it's unoccupied, simply move into it and spend an order. Orders are indicated right here on your leader cards, and your total order each turn is however many there are total between your 2 leaders. But anyway, to get back into the skirmish, which if you recall is the 3rd main phase, again, production, order, skirmish, end. And end isn't even really like a phase, it's more so this is the end of your turn. If there's anything else that you want to do with remaining orders, you can do it now. So, here we are in the skirmish phase. We have my legion attacking the enemy legion, represented by these pawns and indicated by these cards. So, my legion has a combined power of 4 plus 4 is 8, plus 4 is 12, plus 5 is 17. These little direction arrows that are gold indicate where my legion can attack, move, or counter. And you just have to have at least one arrow pointing in the intended direction. I have at least one gold arrow pointing forward, which, as you can see, that's where the enemy is. The enemy cards don't have any arrows in here. Let's pretend that, excuse me, they had this card in their legion with this arrow pointing forward. So therefore, since I am attacking, they will be countering. And they have an arrow pointing back at my legion, so they can initiate a successful counterattack. So here's how things play out. You have to remember the 3 B's, which is base, boost, and bonus. So base power is adding up all these numbers here, which I just did. And then the second B, again, is for boost. You would look at card effects. Let's make this simple and pretend that we're not going to look at those for right now. And then finally is bonus. Bonus is indicated by the card's type, which is indicated on the cards by their respective colors. All right, sorry about that. My phone cut out on me. Anyway, as I was saying, there are 4 different types in Doorkeeper of cards, that is. So first we have the health type, indicated in red here and by the health symbol here. Next we have the movement type, indicated in green here and the movement icon here. After that we have the counter type, which is indicated by the color blue here and the counter symbol here. And lastly, we have the attack type, indicated by the black power value here and the attack symbol here. All right, so now that we have that out of the way, we have successfully gone through the base power, or adding up the base power values. We are ignoring the kind of bonus changes that would occur due to card effects, or the boosted, sorry, and we're going right into the bonus stats. So, for health, the health type bonus is -1 damage. For movement, it's their respective bonus does not apply during battle. Instead, you get to move as many tiles as there are direction arrows on your movement type card. And if you have multiple movement type cards within your legion, you just use the highest one. So this one has 2 direction arrows, meaning that it can move 2 tiles, or rather the legion that it is embedded in can move 2 tiles instead of the standard 1. All right, next is the counter type. Counter type gets +1 power when countering, and the attack type gets +1 power when attacking. So since we are attacking, this will go into effect, and the health type bonus will go into effect. So this 17 becomes an 18, which attacks the enemy legion, who has a combined power of 3 plus 2 is 5, but +1, since the Terracotta Warrior is an attack type, so that's 6. So it's an 18 versus a 6. Obviously, this defeats that, but unlike in some other more popular trading card games, your opponent still has, their chance to deal damage back to you. So they are going to deal 6 damage. However, since the card right here is the aforementioned health type, it gets that bonus we just talked about. So that's reduced by 1. So this just becomes 5 damage. And damage is applied kind of left to right. Well, not really left to right, more so first card to last card. The reason that I have all these kind of stats here on the left is so that you can condense your cards like this to save space. And so that 5 damage is dealt to this Legion, destroys the first unit. There's 1 damage left over. So power and health are basically kind of the same stat during a skirmish. So right now this has 3 health, and that will last until the end of the turn, at which point its health/power gets reset. So that 1 point was not enough to destroy it, and therefore it, like I just said, gets reset. And then, yes, obviously the 4 power here just completely destroys these first 3, and then there's like that 1 that carries over here to the 2, and then this power goes into effect and destroys that as well. So this Legion has successfully defeated the opponent Legion. All right. I think that's enough material to cover for now. Stay tuned for more in-depth tutorials. And that's all for now.